White House officials say the approach mirrors Trump's communication style, similar to what we saw with his comms team's campaign in 2024. The president is wielding social media as a tool to resonate with millions, and it's obviously working. Let's welcome in now Driena Sixto, who's a Turning Point Action spokesperson. She's here with us in the studio. Driena, it's great to have you with us.
Thank you.
I love the DHS social media account. It's amazing.
Yes, and thank God for Gen Z, which I assume is the one running it. So one of the things that a lot of people critique them for is definitely not how great their social media game is. I think what's most important here is that we're realizing that feelings make a bigger impact than not just facts or figures. I think having somebody laugh at something that DHS posts is really going to make an impression and is going to bring them back and is going to make them interact with that account even more. So I think that's what we're seeing here, that they're not just saying, hey, you know, we're doing our job, which they are. They are obviously sending back a lot of people, but Americans don't exactly see the day-to-day, right? So if you say 500 million, technically it's been about 300 million illegals have been deported back since the start of this administration. Great. But we don't get to see that really happen. But what we do get to see is a funny reel of our DHS officers on the ground saying, hey, and this is one of my favorites, saying that one of my favorite sounds, because a lot of Americans say, oh, my favorite sound is a coffee cup, like when you shake the coffee and you hear the ice.
Yes.
Well, for me, it's the clink.
The clink
and
of
so
the
he arrests
handcuffs.
one of the guys on the ground, the clink of doing this and then sending them back, which is hilarious and obviously makes me want to share that on my Instagram stories so that other people can see it, share it to my friends so that they have a good laugh. That's what's really driving this.
What's interesting to me, particularly about the Cornhusker Clink post that they made, is when you go into the comments of that clip, there are other people that mock it. Someone took that and put it into Grok, I think, and animated it. So the ICE agents, the Corn ICE agents, picked up their guns and then marched out, and everyone's kind of got their own version. So the engagement is an important part of this. Here's another DHS post they made headed into the weekend with the caption "Lock in Patriot." You know, this is obviously having a big impact too, because what we've seen is the recruiting at DHS for ICE agents is off the charts.
It sounds like a really fun job, the way that they're painting it to be. And that's something that we have struggled with for a very long time, is to get people to participate in these government positions, because it seems like for a very long time, a lot of these government officials were doing the opposite of protecting and serving the country. So why would people that love America actually sign up to do that? And now I feel like people know that they're not going to be handcuffed themselves to do the job. More people are signing up to be police officers, joining the military, and also joining national law enforcement agencies like DHS.
Now, the other thing we wanted to talk to you about in this segment is the White House TikTok account has officially launched. So let's take a look at a clip of that. Very TikTok-y, if you ask me. I'm not on TikTok myself, but I've been resistant. But if the White House is on it, maybe I'm going to have to get on it.
Absolutely, and I've said it for a while now, along with a few conservative influencers. TikTok has been the least censored social media platform for a very long time. Prior to Elon Musk buying Twitter, that was it. And for the longest time, when I would use it, post reels, I would go on campuses and debate liberals and post my videos on TikTok. And within 2 months, I had about 70,000 new followers from scratch back in the day. And so it's no wonder then that liberals were trying to censor it, shut it down, force it to be sold so that we can keep it here in this country. Thank God we have alternatives now, like Twitter as well, which Elon Musk turned into X. But for the longest time, truly, TikTok has been the most uncensored platform.
As long as you don't say anything about China, I guess, right? There are limits, but they allowed conservative viewpoints.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's crazy that I was more censored by Mark Zuckerberg on Instagram and on Facebook for the longest time than by the Chinese government that was running TikTok at the time. I guess they had more important things. And so I think this is great to reach out to Gen Z, Gen Alpha. That's what they're really using right now. And clearly, from what we've seen on Instagram, they're going to run the TikTok page in a great way, too.
And I wonder if this is a sign now that they have this deal worked out, because that deadline is approaching. ByteDance, the parent company, has to divest of TikTok, or supposedly they're going to shut it down. Yeah. I wonder if this is a sign that that's actually going to happen.
I really do think so. I think that a large portion of the youth vote that went for Donald Trump was a direct result of young conservative influencers on TikTok, because that's what they were using. And so it became cool, again, to be pro-right, to be pro-Trump. And this is the most conservative young generation we've seen. And it's not because they're sitting there scrolling through Facebook or scrolling through really X. The younger generation is on those platforms, and it's for a reason. I feel like they've gone through our route. So we have to meet them where they are. And we need to modernize. We need to modernize, or basically be left in the dust. Yeah. So as Republicans, even though we're the grand old party, we need some grand new ways of reaching out to the youth. And
they certainly seem to be doing that. All right, we've got another immigration-related story we want to talk about here. The so-called Maryland man, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, his defense team asked a federal judge in Nashville on Tuesday to dismiss his indictment. They call it a, quote, vindictive and selective prosecution by the Trump administration. They say the administration is only prosecuting Garcia for alleged human traffic smuggling because he challenged his deportation to El Salvador. Like, they have the gall to, fight back against these allegations and say it's vindictive and selective. I mean, this guy, we've seen the video of him trafficking humans.
Yes, it's 9 people smuggling 9 illegals in a car with no luggage or anything. So no, this isn't selective prosecution. The problem is that there was selective enforcement under the Biden administration. They did not enforce the laws that were on the books, our immigration laws. That's what happened, and that's what he got away with back in 2022. Now, finally, we're addressing these issues, and finally he's going to receive justice for what was overlooked in the past. So that's what actually happened. There was selective enforcement on behalf of the Biden administration. As you know, we had a wide open border, and he just took advantage of that along with his family. So.
Maryland man, they still call him that. All right, one more topic for you here in this segment. There's a new poll out of New York City. We're watching very closely Zohran Mamdani's mayoral race. He's garnered nearly 42%, followed by Andrew Cuomo at 23%, Curtis Sliwa with 17%, the Republican. Likely voters had a more positive perspective on Mamdani. But what we've seen is little slippage in Mamdani's numbers, not quite as high as they once were. Do you think people are finally tuning into the idea that this guy is a phony?
Yeah, well, he's a phony, but he is true on what he believes, which is being a firm socialist. And so I think that resonates a lot more with the center left and with the right. And they're scared of having New York City turn into a socialist hellhole, and I think that's why his numbers have dropped. He is so intent on bringing forth these dystopian ideas like city-owned grocery stores, which I'm Cuban, do not work, as so my parents have told me, and my grandparents before that. So I think that he's really putting off a lot of people with his extremist views, and something that I found really interesting was Cuomo mentioning that it might be a good idea to have Republicans back him. And for the first time in history, we'll see what happens. But I think Republicans may do, I mean, we know New York is going to stay liberal for a while now. But maybe Republicans might hold their nose in voting the next election to make sure a socialist doesn't get in and stick to the devil they know, which is Cuomo. So we'll see if that happens.
It is unbelievable that Andrew Cuomo could be in this position, but here we are. It tells us a lot about Zohran Mamdani. All right, Dreena's going to stick around with us. We got more to come up here. HHS Secretary RFK Jr. accusing the American Academy of Pediatrics of misleading people with their new released vaccine recommendations. We'll talk more about that in just a moment.
Rick Leventhal reported on the biggest stories of our time. Now he's fighting to bring you the truth, no matter what it takes. Watch The Leventhal Report, weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern on NewsMax 2.
Hi, I'm Susan Lucci. You may know me from my many years on television. I never thought about heart disease until I had my own heart event. I felt this slight pressure on my chest, just slight. I thought, oh, it's nothing, it'll go away. I didn't get it. I did not get it. But a few days later, while shopping at a boutique, that pressure returned, much stronger. It felt like an elephant pressing on my chest. I had a 90% blockage in my main artery and a 75% blockage in the adjacent artery. I was rushed into surgery where I received 2 stents in my arteries. Stents developed through research funded by the American Heart Association. Those stents saved my life. That's why I'm in front of you today, asking you to join me in supporting the American Heart Association by becoming a monthly donor. Call now or go to helpheart.org. For only $19 a month, just 63 cents a day, you can help fund the next medical breakthrough. Get the next person trained in CPR, the next hospital certified in high-quality cardiovascular care. I'm so grateful to the American Heart Association. Their research helped save my life. I can enjoy life with my children, my grandchildren, and my friends. Heart disease is America's #1 killer, and your support now can help save your life or the life of someone you love. Give $19 a month with your credit card, and we'll send you this special t-shirt that you can wear to show that you are helping save lives. Please, listen to your heart. The only reason I'm here today is because I did. So please call the number on your screen or go to helpheart.org now. Join me as a monthly donor today and help save even more lives. Thank you.
Welcome back. HHS Secretary Robert Kennedy Jr. is calling out the American Academy of Pediatrics, accusing them of misleading the American public. The group recently sent out their own guidance calling on young children to still get the COVID-19 vaccine. But this goes directly against the CDC, who determined back in May that all children 6 months and older no longer need these COVID shots. Kennedy blasted the health group on X, calling it, quote, a pay-to-play scheme to promote commercial ambitions of AAP's big pharma benefactors. Kennedy also cited donations from drug makers Pfizer and Moderna, which could lead to a conflict of interest. Driena Sixto is back with us, as well as Stephanie Hamill, political commentator, and Kim Klacik, president of the Red Renaissance PAC. Stephanie, great to have you back with us. Stephanie's been doing something we call parenting. She's got a new baby at home. She's been off for a little while. Great to have you back. So let's start with you. I mean, you know, this is a tough choice for all parents to make. Sometimes pediatricians will pressure parents into getting these vaccines. Do you feel like you have an advocate, though, now, Stephanie, in RFK Jr.?
I do. I mean, it's incredible to see everything that he's been through, just to have his voice heard. I mean, the way that they describe him, a vaccine skeptic. Well, it's okay to ask questions, especially if you're going to inject something into your body. It's your body, your choice. That's what the left always liked. And now he's enemy #1 to them. And as he's pointing out that there may be a little pay to play going on here, that is that he is saying that Big Pharma is paying the Academy here to promote vaccines for young kids. Think about it. They're asking you to get your 6-month-old vaccinated. I'm not a doctor, but logic tells me maybe that's not a good idea. You're not even really supposed to give a young baby Tylenol, just a couple ounces or 5 milliliters of it, if you will. Yeah. So for them to expect parents to do this is it's a lot. So again, parents need to talk to their doctors, but something I personally wouldn't do. I've never gotten a COVID jab, not going to do it, and not going to have my kids do it either.
Yeah, Kim, the chance of a child dying from COVID is like zero. Literally zero. You talk to pediatricians, the data is out there. So why do you think the American Academy of Pediatrics is pushing this on parents?
Well, first and foremost, John, I'm just so happy that we have so many people in different departments of the government that is there to tell the truth, like RFK Jr. So God bless the Trump administration. But I will say this is clearly all about money. It is a money grab, as Stephanie pointed out. And unfortunately, there are a lot of parents that will listen to some of these pharmaceutical companies and listen to some of these doctors that are pushing these things. And I just say, look, until your kid is ready to go to school, and I'm no doctor, I'm not going to give some advice to a mother, but if you look at the vaccines that a school requires, that is totally different than what they push on you nowadays. And so people need to pay attention. What is necessary? What isn't necessary? And understand that a lot of this has to do with money. And again, I'm so glad RFK Jr. is on top of this. This is something our country has needed for so long.
Yeah, and it's important that parents find a pediatrician that they're comfortable with, who doesn't feel like they're being pressured into doing something they don't want to do. And there's a lot of data out there now and research they can do. Now let's talk a little bit more about RFK Jr. Have you guys seen the health challenge that he has done with Pete Hegseth, putting a lot of us to shame? 50 pull-ups and 100 push-ups in under 10 minutes. Kennedy and Hegseth aimed for under 5 minutes. They both got close. Hard to judge him for this. Hegseth finished in 5 minutes and 25 seconds. Driena, and RFK Jr., who I think is like 65 years old, finished in 5 minutes and 48 seconds. Also, NASA Administrator and Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy is going to join the fun here. Here's what he said.
Hey, Bobby and Pete, I got the challenge. Now listen, you both have a lot more time to work out than I do. You have one job, I have two. But I accept the challenge because it's not just DOD and Health and Human Services that should be healthy. It's the president's cabinet, it's DOT, it's NASA, it's all of government, all of America.
So, Driena, not too long ago, we had guys like Pete Buttigieg and Tony Blinken, who made a fool of himself playing guitar in Ukraine. And now we have, like, legitimate beefcakes posting thirst traps on social media. Quite a change from the last 4 years.
Absolutely. I feel like the image of the United States has been revamped completely. We are now having forth people that are healthy, that are fit, that just are visually a lot more appealing, which is what we want America to be represented by, really. I personally definitely could not, in the least bit, do anything close to that challenge. Importantly, and funny enough, tied into a vaccine injury from many years back.
Wow.
Yeah, Gardasil vaccine that was given to me when I was 15 years old. And so because of that, I'm a little bit challenged when it comes to a lot of physical activity. So this is a conversation that, has been going on for many, many years, and I think finally RFK Jr. is an advocate for standing up for us, not just now, not just the babies that are born now that are trying to be jabbed, but people that have been silenced for many years and have absolutely no kind of compensation other than adjusting their lifestyle due to these vaccine injuries that obviously these companies do not make themselves responsible for.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. That's got to be tough. And, we do have this situation, too. I don't mean to diminish that, but I wanted to ask Stephanie about RFK Jr. The jeans, Stephanie. He's working out in jeans. We saw this before when he was on the campaign trail. He was, like, working out shirtless in California. But, I mean, this guy's 65 years old. Like, it's much different seeing somebody who is the embodiment of health talk to the country about health as opposed to what we used to have. Like that, what was her name? The man who pretended to be a woman that was in charge of the health services.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. It is incredible to see how fit he is. I mean, he's got almost like a six-pack, and you're right. I mean, he's up there in age. And about the jeans, I've never worked out in jeans. That's not for me. He says he is just used to working out in jeans because he likes to go hiking, and then like after that, he'll start his day. So, whatever floats his boat, if you will. But it is really inspiring to see how they're trying to influence people to get healthy. Like, if you don't care about yourself and your body, you probably don't care about your country. And it's also all about military fitness. You want to have the best and the fittest in our military because, what's more important than that? So I'm glad that we're having a conversation about it. Not only are we having a conversation about exercise and fitness, but also the food that and stuff that we're putting in our bodies so that people will feel better. Think about, the best times I've ever had in health-wise is when I'm working out regularly and eating healthy. So I'm glad that they're spreading that message.
Yes, Rachel Levine is the name I'm thinking of.
Yes,
yes, that was the embodiment of health in the Biden administration. We got more to come with Kim, Stephanie, and Driena. We'll be right back after this.
Millions of seniors on Medicare were supposed to receive an expense allowance this past Sunday. Why? Because it turns out they launched a Medicare expense benefit that only happens once a year. What angers me is the fact that even though all seniors on Medicare Parts A and B are eligible for this allowance, they're trying to hide it from us to secretly save all that money. If you've been on Medicare or SSDI for more than 3 months and still haven't received this, and you have Parts A and B, call 1-866-896-1151 to find out how much you can claim. You're one of the thousands of seniors they're trying to trick into not claiming it. I'm going to show you exactly how to claim your expense allowance right now. But you have to do it quickly because they're going to shut this benefit down at any moment without warning once they realize too many people are finding out. You can use this allowance to pay for everyday expenses like rent, bills, gas, and groceries. If you have Parts A and B of Medicare, call 1-866-896-1151 to find out how much you can claim. Here's how to apply. You don't have to submit documents or fill out forms. Unlike most benefits, all you have to do is call a representative and request it. If you have Medicare Parts A and B and you've been on Medicare or SSDI for more than 3 months, call 1-866-896-1151 to find out how much you can claim. Call them. They'll help you get your allowance as soon as possible. Do it now. Don't let them take advantage of you. You have Medicare Parts A and B. Call 1-866-896-1151 to find out how much you can claim.
Well, we have another installment of Democrats Gone Wild. The Rhode Island Attorney General is investigating one of its top prosecutors after this body cam footage shows her being arrested. You can see here Special Assistant Attorney General Devin Flanagan being handcuffed for trespassing at a Newport restaurant. This was after the staff asked her and a friend to leave at least 13 times. 13 times, but they refused, and then Flanagan threw a temper tantrum.
I understand you don't want to deal with it, but the protocol is, and your protocol is if I ask you to turn off the body cam, you have to turn it off, and that's your protocol.
She's a lawyer, so she knows.
I'm an AG.
She's an AG? Honey, you're not, she's not being arrested. Let's go.
I'm not being arrested. You're putting me in cuffs. I'm not being arrested. Do you have any weapons? Buddy, you're going to regret this.
Yeah.
You're going to regret it. I'm an AG.
You're going to regret it. Door closed. The liberal elite once again trying to throw their weight around. Driena Sixto is back with us. Stephanie Hamill and Kim Klasick here. And Kim, this has become the kind of embodiment of the word Karen we hear so much about. This lady right here. You're going to regret this, she says. You know, sounds like she had one too many. Overserved there in Newport.
No, absolutely. I thought it was interesting because her friend said, hey, she's a lawyer. She knows these things. Meanwhile, she didn't know that when a restaurant asks you to leave 13 times, you should probably listen and walk out the door. I think she's going to regret this video wholeheartedly. And it's unfortunate because it seems like she's probably most likely a very nice woman, just had way too much to drink. But yeah, I can't imagine getting in this position. She looks about the same age as I do, John. So she's way old enough to know that this is not the way you handle yourself in public.
Yeah, and her friend there was enabling her, let's just say. The office of the AG put out this statement saying Ms. Flanagan has been employed with the office for approximately 7 years and is currently assigned to the appellate unit of the criminal division. The office immediately began a review of the incident, which we will anticipate will conclude in the next few days. Probably not going to go well for her, Stephanie. You know, not a good look, is it?
John, how many Chardonnays do you have to drink to get to that level of drunkenness out in public? That is incredible. I would love to see video of what was going on at the bar that they had to ask her to leave or the restaurant, just because we saw the after portion. And this all could have been avoided if she had just left. I don't like that the police officers had to handcuff her and drag her away over this, but they gave her multiple opportunities to walk away and leave the area. And the part where she's talking about, I'm an AG. Well, act like an AG.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to set an example for the people that you're representing. And it's just really a bad look. I saw on social media that she was probably going to be fired. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. I do believe in second chances, but really, yes, you need to behave. I mean, she's a woman in her 30s or 40s, and it's just really inappropriate behavior.
Yeah, maybe she had something else going on. I don't know. Was it Chardonnay or was it Sauvignon Blanc? It's maybe we'll find out over the course of the investigation, Driena.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, nobody's an outstanding citizen at all times. We all have our embarrassing moments. What I find is kind of a common pattern, though, when Democrats act out, is that they instantly try to become this privileged person, and they instantly start trying to make threats to the person that's arresting them. All of a sudden, it's, you don't know who I am, and you're going to be sorry for this. I don't feel like in my worst moments I have ever gone to the point of telling people that you're going to be sorry and, you don't know who I am. And they get extremely, extremely defensive, and they become extremely, extremely privileged. I think that's why this whole incident is just relevant right now. It's because we see that pattern over and over. Anytime a Democrat gets caught, then it's, woe is me at first, but as soon as it doesn't go their way, it's like, I'm going to go after you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I hope she learns from this
13
incident.
times. 13 times she was told to leave the premises and couldn't do it. I think that says a lot. All right, ladies, stand by. We got more to come. Stories we're not covering. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But first, some more good news on the company front. Late Tuesday, NewsMax reported that the company saw its key broadcasting sector revenues grow by over 28%. The company saw overall revenue growth of 18%. These are some big numbers indicating the company is still on a high growth trajectory. Earlier this year, the company went public on the New York Stock Exchange, and of course, we are glad that we are living up to our shareholders' expectations. To get the full second quarter earnings report, just go to newsmaxinvest.com, and you can read all about the information and the SEC filings at that location. You can see the QR code. Go ahead and check it out. All right, again, as I mentioned, the stories we're not covering this week. That's next.
Think of all the places that could expose you to identity theft and financial loss. It only takes one mistake at your bank, hospital, or employer for a criminal to gain access to your personal information. And if they do, you and your money are at risk.
$110,000 of my hard-earned money gone.
With LifeLock, if your identity is compromised, we'll step in and fix it so you don't have to. Guaranteed. Our dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialists handle your case from start to finish. They contact institutions on your behalf, dispute fraudulent charges, and more. In fact, we're so confident that restoration is guaranteed. Plus, LifeLock offers the $1 Million Protection Package with coverage up to $3 million.
When I opened my mail and I had a check from LifeLock, they made me whole.
Call now or go online and use promo code 35OFF to save 35% off an annual plan for your first year. Enroll now.
The poverty is unimaginable. There are people who are struggling.
This is where she washes the dishes.
If you're ever going to allow your Christian faith to rise and to do something for God's chosen people, now is the time.
This is the home of Galina. She's 96 years old.
This is what she had to eat for today.
She has one pot with water and wheat.
My father was killed by the Nazis, and I was an orphan. I didn't know about God. But now, in the cold, hungry nights, I pray for food to the God I've never known. There are good people that love you.
You see the tears. Scripture says joy can come in the morning, and you can be the reason.
If you will bless these hurting children of Israel, you will receive God's blessing in return. Your urgent gift today of $25 will help rush a survival food box filled with life-saving essentials. If you call right now, your gift's impact will be doubled to help save lives. Call, scan, or go online now.
I'm not exaggerating when I tell you, I don't know how much longer she could have waited for us to come.
I can't even grow my food anymore. What will happen to me? I'm doomed to starve.
Tens of thousands of elderly Holocaust survivors in the former Soviet Union are living in extreme poverty, hungry, and forgotten. But through the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, we can bring them hope.
Eggs. It's my favorite food. May you be blessed.
You say to them, we see you and we're here to help.
If you call right now, your gift's impact will be doubled to help save lives.
All right, it's time for the stories we are not covering this week. You've probably seen them covered someplace else, but not here, and you're about to find out why this week. Our stories we're not covering on Ombudsman are Driena Sixto, Stephanie Hamill, and Kim Klasick. They're going to let us know if we made the right call. Not covering these stories in just a moment, but first, here they are. starting with MSNBC rebranding to MS Now.
We will become MS Now, which stands for my source for news, opinion, and the world. And look, Andrew, they even have a graphic up. I like it.
There it is.
Actually,
the new logo.
It looks very sporty.
The network calls it a fresh start. Critics call it clumsy and confusing, though. The new logo has been mocked as amateurish. Social media has lit up with nicknames. The spinoff from NBC to Versant drove this move. But backlash is strong both inside and outside of the network, though they brought Rachel Maddow out to do a podcast and make it sound optimistic.
We can apply our own instincts, our own queries, our own priorities to getting stuff that we need from reporters and correspondents. And so it's going to be better once that's all stood up.
Well, we're not covering this story because if Rachel Maddow says something, the opposite is probably true, considering how wrong she's been about every major issue for like the last 10 years, from COVID to Hunter Biden's laptop and the Russia hoax. Next story is there seems to be some concerted effort to rehabilitate disgraced actor Jussie Smollett's career. Smollett was found guilty of faking that hate crime against himself, and he was sentenced to 5 months in county jail. Well, he maintains that he is innocent, and now he's getting a new gig on Fox. They're having a reality show starring Jussie Smollett, and there's a new Netflix documentary out about his case.
In terms of it, are really jaw-dropping.
I would not be my mother's son if I was capable of one drop of what I've been accused of.
Most people don't really know the truth and what the actual evidence in the case was.
Now, we're not covering this story because we refuse to help rehab Jussie Smollett's reputation. In our opinion, he should be working at a Subway as a sandwich artist, not actually a artist in other ways, even though he considers himself an artist, I guess. Driena Sixto is back with us. Stephanie Hamill and Kim Klasick are here. All right, Kim, first to you. Are we making the right call not covering these stories first with the MS Now rebrand?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look, you're doing them a favor by not covering it, John. That is the worst logo I've ever seen, I think, in my life. I have a 9-year-old daughter who could have done better than that. But I did see a lot of the backlash. A lot of people say it's BS Now instead of MS Now, and they deserve every bit of it. It's terrible. In regards to Jussie Smollett, I think Netflix missed a good opportunity. They could have turned that into a comedy, but they're going for like this drama. And they could have done a lot better. Look, I would have watched it if they told me it was a comedy, but saying that it's like some, drama and he deserves another chance is just ridiculous. So good on you guys for not covering both those stories.
I might watch it just to hate watch it. Because I can't believe Jussie Smollett is like so defiant in his belief that he was innocent and didn't do this stuff. Like, we were supposed to believe that two dudes in the middle of Chicago during the polar vortex were going to come out and douse him with bleach and put a noose around his neck. Absolutely insane. Stephanie, next to you, someone got paid a lot of money to design this logo and come up with this rebrand. Some consulting firm someplace. I spent the better part of last night and this morning trying to figure out who it was because they shouldn't get paid any more money.
The rebrand is ridiculous. I mean, if they really want to start fresh, they need to shut it down, start over, get a new lineup of hosts. All of these people were purveyors of fake news and continue to do that. So I can't imagine that any of the coverage is going to change on that network. So their ratings have really suffered over the years because people are tired of being lied to. I don't understand how anyone can actually sit there and take these people seriously anymore. They've completely lost it. So I don't think the rebrand to do anything for them. And as for Jussie Smollett, I think that you should cover it, John, because your audience is very smart. They know this guy is a scammer. We know that Chicago is not MAGA country, and there's not Trump supporters lurking around the streets at 2 a.m. looking for an actor that they never heard of.
It's the most ridiculous story. And so many people bought it hook, line, and sinker. There was a People magazine story I read, to prepare for this, and he said, Driena, that he felt like he got emasculated by the way that the media covered the initial response. Like, dude, you made this stuff up. You have no one to blame but yourself for feeling emasculated.
Absolutely. It's like throwing the stone and then hiding the hand and then complaining that somebody caught you. It was absolutely ridiculous when it came out. It just smelled like there was something fishy from the start. It's funny, the memes that came out from people in the Black African American community in this country that were like, I don't think we're going to defend this guy just yet, because even to us, it sounds like BS.
Yes.
And that's exactly what it ended up being. So if he wants to re-embarrass himself by putting himself in the headlines again, then I'm welcome to it. And as for the MS now, which sounds like early onset multiple sclerosis.
That's the first thing I thought of, honestly. It's like MS. Everybody kind of associates those two letters.
Absolutely.
They have like the kind of the monopoly on MS. And
and now they decided to rebrand this and something that sounds like a disease and a deadline, MS now. So I'm glad that they keep doing this, keep shooting themselves in the foot, let the Democrats do their thing. They're their own worst enemy.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that they actually tried to cut. This is like one of those really bad bills that Congress tries to pass, like where everything has to be an acronym and like news, opinion, and they're like, we need something for W, world. We'll go with world. It's just a poor, And wow, Rachel Maddow in that podcast, she's not even buying it. She makes like $20 million a year. So I guess they're like, Rachel, to justify your paycheck, you got to go on the podcast and pump it. But apparently people inside the building are not happy about it. And I think Kim had the best suggestion. You just got to turn off the lights, or maybe this was Stephanie, turn off the lights, close the door, let it just die for a couple months, and then maybe come back and start it over. Maybe we can get Joe Scarborough back in primetime on Scarborough Country. Remember Scarborough Country? Maybe you guys are all probably too young for that, but
we don't remember, John.
Okay, I do. It was good. Tucker Carlson used to be on MSNBC once upon a time. It was a different time. Anyway, Driena Sixto, thank you for coming in today. Stephanie Hamill, great to have you back with us. Look forward to seeing you a lot more in the near future. Kim Klacik, always great to see you as well.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Take care. That's going to do it for this Wednesday edition of John Bachman Now. National Desk with Kelly Sadler and Bob Sellers is up next. We'll see you back here tomorrow at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific.